Welcome back to the dish that keeps on giving.
Yes.
It's covered dish where we cook it up and eat it, darling.
You look amazing.
Thank you.
Very Catwoman. Michelle Pfeiffer, Batman Returns Catwoman.
Thank you. I was imagining this is like Velma Kelly, like 15 years after Chicago. You know, she's got another few years on her. She's like seasoned. She's a mature lady.
Yes. She's already retired and returned to burlesque 3 times.
Yeah. As one does.
You got to. Sometimes you know what? It's hard because in the arts, there's not another term for like taking a break. You have to make it like retirement. And you're like, well, what if I just want to take 6 months off?
Yeah, really. I'm coming out of retirement next week. Just kidding. But no, there's actually the Bad Burlesque show, the Michael Jackson themed burlesque show is happening at District West this Thursday. And I just said, you know what? I just want to like pick up clothes and like help collect tips. Like I'm just going to be part of the crew that night.
Oh my God, what a glamorous part of the crew you will be. I can't imagine your crew outfit. Post it on the Dishes website.
Oh, I will.
Website? What are you talking about? Instagram.
I have to choose what to wear to sort of like, you know, blend in. So I might even wear this wig. I don't know. You know, what do you think? Like she's, I don't know. I think it's fun. I can at least say that
She's like a substitute art teacher?
Yeah. Like, if you run out of pastels, the school doesn't have any more money, so, like, make the little nub last. You know, that's what this wig is saying.
Yes. I see that. Oh, girl. How are you?
I feel like this wig is an accurate representation of what's going on inside. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm being too hard on this wig. I really think that...
I think you are. I like it. It's kind of like a gray, purple bob. It's she's complicated. She's mysterious.
Oh, she's very complicated. You're like, I'm not sure if the dye job didn't turn out quite right.
Or it's intentional.
Intentional.
Where did you get her?
I got her on wigisfashion.com. I'm not ashamed to tell you.
Should you be though? Should you be ashamed to tell me?
Probably. It's like, you know, it's like the budget wig website when you want to try out a new hairstyle without committing too much. And that's really what this decision was. This was like, you know, I don't know if a bob is really for me. Still don't. But at least, you know, that's what they can write on my tombstone. Eileen Galvin, she tried.
Yes,
she tried the bob.
She tried. Girl, okay, 2 things. First of all, I will post a photo on Covered Dish of my amazing bob when I was at the opera. You've seen those photos, so we'll pull up a classic for Covered Dish.
Yes,
maybe
ma'am.
I'll put a throwback on there. Second of all, can we just talk about like wigs in movies with white people? The only time wigs show up in movies with white people is when someone has cancer, and it's this like inspirational trip to the wig store, and I fucking cannot.
Oh my god,
I can't do it. It's like so annoying, and I'm like, so many people wear wigs for so many other reasons.
Yeah, either that or you're like Zooey Deschanel in like a Manic Pixie Dream Girl movie.
And you're like, oh my god.
Yeah. Do you remember when Scarlett Johansson was in Lost in Translation and her and Bill Murray kick it in I forget if it was Tokyo. Or Kyoto. Yeah, Tokyo. And they go out dancing together, and she has that. It's this hair. It's this wig, but in like bright orange.
Yes.
What everyone was wearing in 2002. Yeah.
Honestly, Scarlett Johansson I have feelings about. Anyways, but Bill Murray's scene in Lost in Translation with the elliptical, where he like fights with the elliptical because it's in a foreign language, might be my favorite 2 minutes of cinema. Anyways,
that movie has so many great movies, moments. Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good. So we are here for the dish tonight, girl. We didn't post what dish we were making, but really you are serving. So we will give you a moment to serve.
Would you like to see the rest of the outfit?
Yes,
so I'm in a nice...
You know I would. Yes.
I normally don't go in for a ruched shoulder, but for you, girl, only the best. So we have a nice...
That's a privilege.
So we have
I am privileged, I'm white, but also privileged.
I mean, we would be remiss, Mama. We would be remiss.
We would be remiss.
If we did not address the elephant in the room. Which
white.
Is... Yeah. You and me both, girl. So we have a nice a ruched shoulder, sequin trim, dolman sleeve, which means that it just connects to the waistline.
Not an almond?
Not an almond, a dolman sleeve. And I decided to
Ah!
I decided to course it for you just a little bit, and where is the body? But yeah, I mean, now she is the moment. And
Girl, this outfit is killer.
Thank you. I don't know. I think it's the wig. The wig. I look at it and I can't get over it. I'm like, I don't know who she is or where she's going, but I'm like worried about her.
We need to burn the wig.
We need to burn it.
That's the thing. You buy it more reasonably so you can walk away from it and not be like upset. And I think what we're learning about tonight is maybe it's time to say goodbye. It's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday, and we can like burn it.
It's time to say goodbye. We should have a whole
yes, we could have all the goodbye songs.
Yeah,
we could have
so
the one
long,
from Sound of
farewell. I'm here to say adieu.
Oh my God, we
have fun
at the same time. We love to see it.
Yeah, we did.
Yes.
All right. We're on a fucking wavelength. All right, well, now that we've got that business out of the way, that was old business, and now
old
business, that's my new name for this wig. And now let's move on to the new business, which is the dish of the dish.
Oh, yes.
So okay, what you have brought for us tonight, girl?
I'll do a little dish cam. So, as you know, sometimes we're very secretive on the dish about the reasoning behind our dishes, but I'll be dead honest with you on here.
Yeah.
I'm going to do a little reveal, a little mental burlesque reveal, emotional burlesque reveal. But my partner, Daddy, was craving shrimp, shrimp scampi, like every 56-year-old man who wants to go to the Olive Garden. So
I've got one at home.
I made, don't we all, girl?
Yeah.
So I made a little scampi. Let me see if I can.
Ooh. Yeah. If you move behind, if you eclipse yourself with the dish, yeah, there we go. Now we got the focus. It is a very light dish. There's not as much. Oh, there we go. Yeah. I could see it. Ooh, yeah. Get in the shrimp and get in the scampi. It's beautiful.
So I did. I also didn't know what shrimp scampi was, if I'm going to be honest. So she was like, "Can you make shrimp scampi?" And I'm like, "Sure, babe." I'm like, "What the fuck is shrimp scampi?" It's lemon garlic pasta, y'all, with a little white wine splashed in. So
there you go.
Very basic, but I did.
The scampis you see on menus have Alfredo, and that doesn't sound like that's quite correct.
No, scampi's not supposed to have Alfredo. Now you could mix in some Parmigiano Reggiano cheese, but I didn't because I'm dairy free. So I did just some olive oil. I sauteed the shrimp with 8 or 9 cloves of garlic minced, half of a shallot, because shallots are so big.
Yeah,
they're really delicate. You only really need half a shallot, and then
very flavorful.
The sauce. I just cooked the lemon or the shrimp with lemon zest and a whole lemon juice, but lots of lemon zest, plenty of garlic, splash of white wine, salt and pepper. And they recommend like oregano or an Italian seasoning, but honestly, I don't love dried oregano that much, so I just did extra salt and pepper and extra fresh garlic. So
I've never had fresh oregano before, but I would really like to try it because I also don't like dried oregano. I think it has a sort of it has a dried flavor to it, you know?
Yeah, it's like overpowering, and I'm like, it's not worth it. So cheers, queers.
Cheers, girl. Get into the dish. How is she, though?
I chopped with a little pepper. Great choice. Oh, the zest. So nice.
I know you've extolled the virtues of zest on this program before. Can I have one? Nom, nom, nom.
Here's why I love this. I love a small shrimp. I just feel like those big ass shrimp just look like they went to the gym too much, and I'm just like, why can't we just have? It's gross.
I don't know what to do with a tiger prawn. That's a little bit too much for me. If I have to fork and knife a shrimp, it's too big.
Yeah, except shrimp cocktail.
True. I mean that's like a 2-bite shrimp cocktail.
No, not the dish. The burlesque performer who's amazing. I'll take a fork and knife to her any day.
Shrimp lean.
So yeah, no, it's good. I don't do a lot of pasta. I actually made this with chickpea pasta last night and regular pasta for Daddy.
Never had it. How is chickpea pasta? Is it
It tastes like
reasonable facsimile?
Pasta. It tastes like pasta if you close your eyes. You know what I mean? Like you just gotta kind of.
Okay. Remember a few weeks ago when I made there was a root vegetable. I can't remember what it was called, but it was it's like it's sort of pre-cooked in the bag, because that's just like when you use this root vegetable as when you make them, they sort of have the consistency of cooked noodles when they're raw.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes, I remember that.
But I can't remember what the root vegetable is called anymore. So
yeah, but it was like that. So it's actually pretty good, and I liked it because it was higher in protein. And for some reason, that makes me feel better about myself, which makes no sense because I'm not running marathons. Anyways,
I'm so blind that without my glasses, I clicked on the wrong view and took it back to covered dish starts in just a minute, and then I had to redo the explosion transition. So fix it in post. I'm gonna have a stern word with my technical team after this.
and by the way, the wig is also the technical team.
Wig is the technical team.
The wig, old business.
Yeah. It's I've got a communication device hidden up here.
Pretty much what you're learning on covered dish is if you have some cloves of garlic and a whole ass lemon, you can do whatever you want. That's what you're going to tell from my kitchen.
You can make your dreams come true.
You're making my dreams come true. It's a singing night, y'all. It's a singing night. Okay.
It's the musical covered dish.
Yeah.
All right. So speaking of not making your dreams,
episode like 50, we'll do a musical episode. Like
oh
Buffy.
My God, yes. Well, 52 will be a year, so we're coming up on it. We've been doing covered dish for more than half a year.
I can't believe it. Oh, we didn't celebrate with episode 26. Boo. Okay.
Oh, well. So speaking of dreams never coming true, let's talk about the topic of the evening.
We're talking about dating apps, girl. Yay, nay. Lose them, use them. Thoughts? Go.
I think I have like an addiction to dating apps, because sometimes I just feel like here's the problem. It is gamified.
Okay.
Human romantic connections. And so, like, you know how sometimes when you don't have a game installed in your phone for a while, and then do you ever reinstall old games because you're like, oh, I miss that, and it reminds you of that feeling of just sort of like zoning out for a little bit and doing something you don't have to think about, but it just kind of it feels familiar and it's fun and all that stuff. Dating,
and it's low stakes. It's low stakes.
Yes. And I mean, you could say dating apps is pretty low stakes too, because you're just like swiping right and left, and maybe you send a message,
right.
Maybe you get wrapped up in a 3-month affair where you're telling each other how much you love one another. No, that doesn't happen. And then you're reading tea-stained missives about coming back from the Great War. There's a lot of role play in my romantic life.
Facts.
Yeah. But anyway, I feel like I can't completely get rid of them. Because every once in a while I just miss the experience of zoning out and swiping. And it's not good. It's not healthy. You know what I mean? Like, I shouldn't be thinking about other human beings in that transactional way. Because it's like looks are given too much importance on dating apps. And its connection with other people is about more than just that,
Right. Well, and I think you kind of bring up a good point, which is like the transactional nature of it. And I think there is a spot for transactional interaction as well. Like, I think if that's something that really serves you, I think the problem is that everyone's on there for different reasons. And I do think that that's why it's great that there's so many different options. But I think to put the accurate thing in your profile, you have to know yourself. And that comes back to what we were talking about last time, which is like, a lot of people don't. I mean, and there's parts of me that I don't know. I'm like, oh, I'm like this. And, someone I'm dating is like, no, you're not. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, I aspirationally want to be more like that, but that's actually not how I come across, Yeah. And it's all in the eye of the beholder. But I do think as much as looks are taken too much weight is put on them, I also think it's hard to tell chemistry. And that's where I get caught up, because as somebody who, will think someone's really cute and then meet them, I then question my own judgment. And I'm like, well, they're cute and I thought they were cute and we have this in common, but we don't have chemistry, but maybe we can make it work. When in reality, I just can't. Like, that's just walk. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I know what you're thinking, dear viewers, that there is not Plenty of Fish. That one's not good. What's the other one? Oh, OkCupid, where you answer a bunch of questions, where you try to get the percentage, the chemistry. How do you feel about that? I have my own
okay, so yeah. I have OkCupid stories galore, because that's what I did when I moved to Columbus, Ohio, and dating myself, y'all. This is before the apps. So the apps didn't exist, which is insane. Yeah. But I found answering the OkCupid questions very much like masturbatory zoning out, right? Because you just answer all these questions. And every time you sign in, there was more questions. You could always answer more questions. There was never a limit, you know?
Yeah.
And whenever I was matched with someone over 90%, I meet them and it was a completely different story than what they had put. So like,
oh, for sure.
You know, one time I went out with this woman, and I was in Columbus, Ohio, and she's like, well, let's meet at BD's Mongolian Grill at Easton.
Romantic.
And I was like, okay. And she's like, but I'm nervous. It's the big city. Should I bring is my car going to be safe? And I was like, Easton is a mall. You're bringing your car to a mall. Anyway, so we go to BD's Mongolian Grill. She talks about her ex the whole time. She isn't out to her family. She lied about her education. She lied about where she was from. And we go up to BD's, like to the buffet.
Yeah.
And she brings her backpack. And I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, well, it's a dangerous part of town. And I was like, don't worry. Like, I don't know if you have like chloroform and duct tape in there, but I'm a sure thing. Because I was joking. And she's like, I don't have duct tape.
Like a little too quickly.
I'm gonna die.
Yeah.
I'm gonna die.
Yeah. Get in the chat if you think that she definitely had duct tape because yeah.
But
and who knows what else?
I nicknamed her Dora the
restraints.
Explorer because she always had her backpack.
Oh, I love that.
Then I ordered one beer with dinner and she threw a fit, made us split the bill, and then texted me a half hour after, told me I looked like Alice from the L Word and asked me to go out again. This is the problem. People don't realize how bad the date went.
That's, you know, lack of like self-awareness and also awareness about the environment. That's like a double whammy right there. That's like
you get social interaction from apps.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's different for men. Like
Denise says there's definitely some tape in there. Thank you for corroborating that. I completely agree.
Yes. Like you're attracted to men, and I feel like that's more complicated because I feel like not more complicated but different. Like I've never just gotten random butthole pics. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
well, if random butthole pics is the story you wanted, you came to the right lady. Because let me tell you, I have a bit of, here's the other thing too, is I have a bit of an issue.
Listeners, comment if you think we came to the right place for random butthole pics. Okay, sorry, keep going.
So I have a very gay problem, Brooke, which is that I am like visually initially attracted to a lot of toxic jocks and people who live in Lancaster who sell tractors. You know what I mean? Like that's the vibe that it's just like sells tractors. Yes. It's like a quick association thing in my brain. And it's like, what are we going to have to talk about? You know what I mean? We're not going to talk about Drag Race All-Star season 6. You know what I mean? We're not going to watch French cinema together. We're not going to like kick it and watch The Crown. You know what I mean? I don't understand what I'm thinking here, but it's something reasons for therapy.
It's something visceral though.
It is very
visceral.
It is visceral.
You know?
I mean, attraction is one of those hard things that you can't really reason with. It's just there, you know, and you have to, I think you need to process. Oh, Lisa says this is my favorite of all your looks so far. Oh my. Maybe
Lisa,
thank you.
Pump her up.
Thank you for the confidence boost. Maybe I need to do the bob more often. I just don't know.
I love it.
Thank you. I don't know. Anyway, we'll have to journal about that tonight. Dear Diary, I ended up really liking this bob way more than I thought I would. But anyway, I have butthole pics. So I have this very like initial attraction, and I think what I'm going to get is sort of like, you know, like daddy role play and butch activities. You know what I mean? Like tell me about the last time you hung drywall. You know what I mean? And but then it usually takes sort of an odd turn, and sometimes it's because I'm being fetishized as a femme-presenting trans woman. Sometimes
You don't say.
That never happens. Fetishization.
Never.
Has this ever happened to you? There's got to be a better way. You know, I can see this sort of like PSA mixed with like 50s housewife commercial about microwave dinners. So I will attract sometimes. They'll find me. These men will find me that are very butch presenting on the surface, but they have this latent, repressed need to cross-dress or present femininity. And it's like, can I borrow your wigs? You know what I mean? Can I borrow your wigs? Can you put makeup on me? Or it will be even more demonstrative of like, look at this thing that I'm into that I can't show anyone else. And I'm like, and I'm like, Cindy, I don't know if I needed to be the person to see that either. You know what I mean?
Right. I don't need.
We've just met. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, can we at least go to dinner and talk about it over a glass of wine? And here's my problem, Brooke, is that I'm a very giving person in this particular way, is that I want to be supportive of everyone's journey, just on principle. I think that's sort of like a good way to be. It's like, it's what I want to aspire to. But sometimes in that particular context, when you're on a dating app and that you have engaged with a stranger with the expectations of like, okay, maybe this is going to turn into a date thing. Maybe it's going to be casual friends with benefits, whatever the case may be. I am not here to be your therapist.
Right.
So that can be a delicate conversation to have on dating apps. And what turned into a simple time distraction of just swiping and being like, hey, I think you're attractive, turns into this very intense, I'm not sure what's appropriate or what.
Well, and it becomes emotional dumping. And like, I don't need to be the keeper of your dirty little secrets. I don't even know you.
Yeah, so how do I be at once responsible to strangers in a way that makes me feel like I can sleep at night, while on the other hand, respecting my own sense, my own time and my own triggers, frankly, because sometimes I used to, oh my God, girl, you want to see the cesspool of the internet, go on down to the transpersonal sites that are just full of chasers. Just 100% chasers, girl. And they're all some guy named Glenn from Nebraska who says that that he wants to move you down and have you be his sex slave. I mean, it's just interaction after interaction. And for some reason, I stayed on there for like 5 years. You know, I just log in every once in a while. I don't even know why. You know, I wish I could tell you why. It was just sort of like, I wonder what's going on like T-girl personals. You know, that's not healthy for me.
I think that's not healthy.
Yeah.
But I also think
hey, like, Teo Clyburn's here.
Hi, Teo. I think it's also, as a trans person who is looking for love, really difficult to find an avenue that isn't exhausting. So I think taking time on different sites or apps makes total sense. Like,
I think it might be sort of like a FOMO, like when you are
what are all the other T-girls doing?
Right. Well, when you're trans like me, I'll just say me. When you're me, because I don't want to like say my experience is similar to,
which we absolutely are saying all of Eileen's experiences are every trans woman's experience. Just
yeah. I'm every woman. So if you're like me and you're dumpster diving for affirmation at 2 a.m. on a like Thursday evening,
reach it to the back of the room.
Sometimes you're like, I'm just gonna get on the good old tgirlpersonals.com and see if there's a missed connection. Like, is that where the one is? You know what I mean? And this is ridiculous because I'm also in a 10-year relationship with my primary, whom I love very much. We are in an open relationship, which you can view on a prior episode on our YouTube channel. Subscribe to Cover Dish.
I'm like, no. First of all, the affirmation you need has nothing to do with your primary partner. Like I said before.
Well, that's true because he's gay. And so that's complicated too. You know what I mean? Like,
girl.
Affirmation. Well, affirmation is different from like men who understand me as a trans woman or as a woman. I'll just say as a woman. Men who understand me as a woman versus my partner who we met when I was a gay presenting non-binary person. And so like, that's just different. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I will say,
non-binary thing in relationships is like your partner sees you one way, and if there are other facets to you, to your presentation, your identity, it's not the same thing.
You know, and I, of course, like that experience cannot be compared to anything else. But I think what we as in cis folks can learn from that is that we all have parts of our identity that our partners aren't attracted to or that aren't satisfied by our partners. And that's why non-monogamy is for everyone. No, you know what I mean? Like, I think, but however you think about it, right? Like the part of me that is fed by you, Eileen, is very different in its friendship, but it's very different and it cannot be replaced by any deep partnership. It just can't be, right?
So is absolutely true. And also I will sing my love for you from the mountaintops. I truly will, because I feel exactly, the same way. This is something that is broader than just romantic relationships. This is just the people who like nourish you, the relationships that really fulfill you.
Right. And I think like there is something to say like, okay, like, oh, well, why am I looking for affirmation if I have a primary? And it's like, because we're human and we have all these multiple facets. And if you have someone that you think satisfies every single part of you, you're doing it wrong. Not the relationship, but maybe your own self-discovery journey, like figure out what other parts of you can satisfy. Anyways, we're off on a tangent. Let me tell you about the time a girl tried to fly me to Florida for lunch. Ironic, because now I live in Florida. So I was living in Columbus, Ohio, and I met a girl on, you guessed it, a woman. OkCupid.
I love this self-correction. It's like a girl, boop, a woman. Because
so this woman had never experienced an understanding of gender as fluid as I presented in the beginning of the relationship.
Okay.
So in her mind, she hit like Yahtzee.
So walk me through it. Which book are we looking at in this particular frame of time?
So, oh God. Okay. So just moved to Ohio, pre-law school, definitely still owned cargo pants, coming out of, remember that Kris Jenner haircut?
No. Oh, was it the swoop?
Yes. But it was like past the Justin Bieber swoop. It was longer. Post Kris Jenner, pre Bieber. It was a real nightmare.
Got it. Yeah, everyone had the swoop back in 2007.
Oh, the swoop.
Yeah.
And you know what? She had the swoop too. But I was like, hey, like, I don't care if you identify as a woman out here and you can identify as a man in bed and we can have a different name and gender is dumb. And if you like it and it's a thing we want, that's great. But like, I'm not tied to you presenting as one gender and being that gender all the time, which blew her mind. She was probably descended from Puritans. All the descendants of the Mayflower like settled in Ohio. Anyways.
Oh my gosh.
So
I did not know that.
I think for her, it was like a little bit of queer Yahtzee. Like she's like, oh, I found someone who gets it. When in reality, most people get it. Like not most people, but a lot more people get it. I'm not that special, right?
I was gonna say, yeah.
Okay. So I was like, hey, I can't do this anymore. And I ended it. And then like a week later, she was like, hey, oh, Penny's mad about it. Love. I'm going to poke you.
And you know what that sound means? It's time for the secret giveaway. No, I'm sorry. There's no secret giveaway today. Penny's just barking.
So she's like, hey, do you want to go to lunch? And I was like, okay, like, yeah, are you in town? Because she was in Ohio, but she didn't live in Columbus.
Right.
And she's like, why don't you go to the airport? And I was like, what? And she's like, yeah, I got you a flight. We're going to go to Miami for lunch. Or Fort Lauderdale? Or maybe Sarasota. I don't remember. It was somewhere in Florida. And I was like, what? And she's like, yeah, you're going to go down to Florida. We're going to go to Florida for lunch. We just need to get away. I'm like studying for the LSAT. I'm working 2 jobs. And I'm just like, wait, what are you talking about? And she's like, no. And I was like, well, what happens if we have too much to drink and like we end up spending the night? And she's like, oh no. And I'm like, what? Are you trying to like trap me in another state? This was like peak Sky Masterson, Guys and Dolls, when he flies Sarah Brown down to Cuba and definitely gives her too much to drink, and it was a non-consensual situation.
Yeah.
Or
like a Mr. Grey, like, very controlling kind of thing. Like, listen, even when I was 19, 20, I was a more capricious, impetuous sort of soul. I was a young little, flittering fairy. I would have said, absolutely not. That is so presumptuous about somebody's time and what they have going on. And it's just like, I'm just going to drop everything and fly down to have lunch with you in Miami.
Well, and the funniest part of it all was like, I was so dumb. I was just like, well, then I'm going to have sex with you and I don't want to do that. Like I just said that because I was like, this feels like a trap.
No, I'm glad that you were that direct because that's exactly what it seems like to me too. It's like the expectation.
Yes.
Like after all that fanfare and all that production, like what are they going to expect from you in return? That's the question.
I also asked that. They said nothing, but we know they didn't mean it. Plot twist readers, I did not end up going to Florida for lunch. Now I live in Florida. I have lunch here all the time and it's delightful because it's not in a hostage situation.
And now I'm a regular Florida luncher.
And if you don't believe me, one of my exes, my first ex in Ohio, Chelsea, who's an absolute delight, and I love her. She watches The Dish. So Chelsea, if you're watching or watching later, because she's very busy, she works she works night shifts and stuff. She's a very fancy medical professional. Please, Chelsea, comment and validate that this actually fucking happened, because I think you got the call right after. So
yes,
with that, readers, we will bid you adieu. It is getting close to time. Eileen, any closing thoughts on hole picks, non-monogamy, or Florida?
I probably shouldn't have told you that hole pick story. First of all, the combination of words hole pick is just hilarious to me. Let me just close the loop on that, because we did advertise it, so I feel like I have to actually tell you the story. I was in a former job, I was working, and there were not a full-time staff member, but a contractor was working on site doing an installation, and then we were on texting basis, so it was like, oh hey, let me know how the day went, whatever, blah blah blah. And then in the evening time, it was like, hey, what are you up to? This man texted me, and I'm like, not texting you, it's after hours. You know what I mean? Like, that was a step beyond the professional boundary. But it was kind of like the last day that we had to work together, so I was kind of like, what do you got to lose? You know what I mean?
Right.
So I was like, oh, just sitting at home watching Netflix. What are you up to? And he was like, I'm just relaxing with a bottle of wine. And then it was just like, boom, hole pick. So I'm telling you, when you are trans, you have to
comment if this has happened to you.
When you are a trans woman, dear readers, sometimes you have to put up with men wanting you to do all of these repressed sex acts. And part of me feels embarrassed to talk about this, but I'm like, this needs to be talked about more, because it's something that trans people have to go through, as this sort of like entitlement to talking about certain sexual things just right out of the gate. It's like, hi,
yes.
How are you? Hole pick. So it's just something you get used to dealing with. Frankly, women too, because women get dick pics all the time. So it's a very similar situation. It's just an extra
I do feel like
flavor.
It's similar, but I don't believe in comparing trauma, and I do believe, while it may be similar in overlap, I do feel like it is particularly terrible for you. Also, I love that he was like finishing a bottle of wine. Like, did you need to like finish it to work up the courage? Was the wine in the pick?
Yeah.
Who hurt you?
Oh, relaxing. It was relaxing with a bottle of wine.
Relaxing, just with.
Yeah, and I think my response to the pick was like, what kind of wine is it?
What's my next question?
Because I'm also, what was my response? I think my response was like just a complete sidestep, because you know me, girl, like sometimes I'm just like, I'm down for an experience. I'm down for a new experience, and my threshold for like, I've been in a lot of crazy situations in my life, so I wasn't like, I've been here before, you know what I mean? And sometimes you just want to see where the conversation goes. So I was like, oh, interesting. Was
it a Washington Pinot? This is hilarious.
Looks like you've had work done. You know what I mean? I'm just kidding. It did not look like work was done. Anyway, on that note, I think the rest of the details of that story is a matter between her and the Lord. Girl, this evening, your challenge to me was to do monochrome. And I sort of took it and made it my own. I could have done like strictly black and white, but I feel like this is monochrome enough. It feels like, early talkies, like the first movies with sound.
So I think I've been inspired for the theme for next week, the challenge for next week. Since that wig is old business, serve us new business.
New business. Okay, I love that. Challenge accepted.
Challenge accepted. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please share, please like, please follow us on YouTube. Please tell your friends and your foes. We'd love to see you every Tuesday at 7 here on Covered Dish.
We love you. Be safe, my babies. And remember to clean your room and eat your vegetables. See you next Tuesday. Bye.
Bye. Mwah.